I am Dr. Charles Apoki. I watched an interview on Arise TV between Rufai Oseni and the Minister for Works, David Umahi. And it's a reflection of the generational gap. First of all, let me quickly talk about Rufai Oseni. I hope I didn't say Jeremiah Oseni. Rufai Oseni. Because I've seen a lot of people who will leave the main issue and start concentrating on frivolous matters. I've also seen that a lot of people try to arrogate to themselves unnecessary importance. I've seen people say that Rufai Oseni is not a trained journalist. I went to the dictionary online to check what is journalism. Journalism is the process of gathering, assessing, creating, and promoting news and information to the public through various media like print, broadcast, and the internet. Then I went to check who is a journalist. A journalist is the person that does these things I have said. Then I went to the Nigerian Institute of Journalism. I looked at the entry qualification. There is nothing specific about the entry qualification that makes somebody who did not go to that school less intelligent than them who claim to be journalists. The average Nigerian journalist today is still living in the era of when people like Dele Giwa and the rest people were exclusively journalists. Today, any person that gathers, assesses, creates, and promotes news and information to the public through any medium is a journalist. That Rufai Oseni does the following things, they are both things, makes him a journalist. His background might be different. And no person thinks that animal science is an easy course to read. I would just see stupid person will come on air. Somebody who is supposed to be taking care of cows, is coming to analyze this on television. Do you know animal science? You know about feed formulation and the rest things? No, you don't know. You are limited to that your training. You went there with 5 credits, like maybe Rufai also went, not maybe, definitely went to university to read animal science with 5 or 6 credits. Now, there are people who have practiced journalism from different backgrounds. Richard Quest is a lawyer. Sanjay Gupta is a neurosurgeon, and he's a journalist with CNN. And there are different people from different fields that have practiced journalism. Now, I want to look at his style of questioning. There is Stephen Sacco of Hard Talk, BBC, Hard Talk. That guy could mess up any person. Even though I was listening to him that for 6 months now, that program had been pulled down because of financial considerations, even though he claimed that he was having a lot of views, more than many programs there. So any person can be a journalist. the person's style of interrogation or interview varies. When Richard Quest is interviewing you, it comes like a swarm of bees. When Larry King is interviewing you, it comes in a way that if you are not careful, you will mess up. I want to look at former governor, minister David Umahi. Umahi did a lot of work in Ebonyi State. I must give that to him. There was one day I was crossing Ebonyi State around 2:30 a.m. I was coming from Boki, and the whole place was properly lit and very wonderful bridges. He did a lot of work as a governor. But you don't step into a ministerial position with the mindset of a governor. A governor is like an emperor, and you are the all and all in that your sub-nationality. You make commissioners, you sack commissioners, and some of you, you have the House of Assembly, local government chairpersons, traditional rulers under your control. You don't bring that to the federal level. You are under a president, under a senate, under a greater public scrutiny. I have seen governors who became ministers who still come with this imperial mentality. I saw Ngige do that when he was negotiating with striking workers. There was this air, and he still carries it today when he's discussing Obi and whatever. Boy, you guys are just public servants. Public servants. Yes, on Wike also has that kind of imperial, do anything, you can't do anything. No, it doesn't work like that. You're a public servant. And then Maoga Umahi. No. Now, you don't come to public arena as if you are still in the NTA news era, when people like CNN or Wal Brown, Ruth Benemesi appear, Femi, what is the name, Frank Olize and the rest of people will interview you. They are afraid of being sacked by you. And then you can say anything and get away with it. This era has changed. In 2020 or 2020 or something, I told people, including our general overseers, including traditional rulers, including politicians, that the Gen Z generation will question everything. They will question everything. You must be in a position to explain and to defend. And that's what many pastors and many general overseers are finding difficult to contain, and many politicians. That's why all these cyberbullying law and all these rubbish things are being used by the elites to stifle questioning and dissent. And it doesn't work well. It cannot work in a democracy. Even though democracy on its own can be abused. Now, when you go to a TV channel, you have opened yourself up for scrutiny, for public scrutiny, and you must be willing to answer questions. If you don't want to answer, you say you don't want to answer. You don't bring tantrums to a TV station. It is when you have volunteered to be, or you have been recruited to be a public servant, which you are, servant, public servant, not Lord, public servant. You are going to be, you have volunteered your privacy to a large extent. Ideally, your health records that are supposed to be your private information is subject to scrutiny. Your finances are subject to scrutiny. Your morals are subject to scrutiny. And if you are handling public funds on behalf of the people and you are executing a public project, the people have a right to know what is happening. So when they question you, you have to give answers that meet specifications. Now, public servants must learn to behave in public because you are talking to your masters, the people who pay you, the people whose monies you use. And you see, once you come to the public domain, your age is not really important anymore. If you are a junior minister to me and I am older than you need to respect me. If you are serving under me as a commissioner and you are older than I am, you need to respect me. You go to the public, a young police officer tells you, stop, you need to stop. A soldier stopped me, my lawyer was driving me, and I came down to open the boot of the car. He said, you should have told your driver. I said, no, I must respect your uniform and open this boot of this car. So when you come to the public as a public servant, you must comport yourselves in such a way that sexism is not your traditional council meeting. It's not your village meeting that you have come to on television. You play by the rules. You play by statistics. Now, Umahi has to learn how to answer questions. During one of his public briefings, Laila Johnson asked him about whether they've done environmental impact assessment. The lady spoke. The lady, I think it's her background. I was in Scotland. Marcus Ekure's children were talking. I didn't understand what they were saying. I would tell Marcus, tell me what they are saying. So I don't know the background of the young lady, but she didn't speak phonetics that is very difficult for an engineer to understand. And because she asked of environmental impact assessment, apparently Umahi was irritated and said that he will need an interpreter and tried to ridicule the intelligent question this lady asked. Surprisingly, after some weeks or months, it was found out that there were undersea cables that would be affected by that road, and they had to divert that road. And so that intelligent question that the lady asked, out of anger or misogyny, because I would say another thing that involved another woman, misogyny, the imperial master could not tolerate that from her and tried to ridicule the young lady. But not up to a month, they found out that undersea cables passed through that area and they had to divert the road to another direction. That woman was right and should have been listened to. I know his challenge. There are some things that are very difficult to defend. It's like your child asking you, who created God? Who created God? My granddaughter will ask the mother, where did she come out from? You can't go and tell her everything. So there are some questions that can be very irritating. But most importantly, it's very difficult to defend some things. Some things, you know what I mean? Some things are very difficult to defend. In 2024, around November, I suspect, because I went back to check the post, a lady who happened to have been an APC member and a mobilizer for Tinubu had a challenge with that road and her property or whatever. And she was talking, asking a question during a meeting, something that looked like a town hall meeting. And Umahi asked the woman to please give them their microphone. And the woman was still talking, said, and he called security to walk her out of the place. So, first woman, second woman, anger, anger, intolerance, intolerance. Instead of addressing the issue, you left the issue, you faced the person. Now, during the interview with Rufai Oseni, he should have calmed down. There was a time he stalled, he stopped. I'm sure he was praying under his breath. This boy, it is as if cross hold you, I could see the brain block that took place. It's a simple question. What is the average cost per kilometer? Simple. Where the cost of the entire project is this, and there are 700 and something kilometers. Therefore, if we divide that amount per these kilometers, this is the average cost. But Rufai Oseni, please note this. There are areas with bridges. There are areas that are swampy. There are areas that are heavily forested. The cost per kilometer of the first 30 kilometers will not be the same as those other ones that will require bridges, will require dredging, will require sand filling, will require deforestation. The first 30 kilometers was quite in an open area. So you could have explained to Oseni as I'm explaining now, sir, we don't, the whole length of the road does not have equal cost per kilometer. So why the fight over cost per kilometer? Simple answer are provided, and that is the truth that any quantity surveyor will tell you. Now, you don't need to tell him that he's too small to be reported to the president or that you are a professor. You now give fuel to Oseni. People call me professor. I'm not. I tell them I'm not. Professor in America can be, or in French-speaking countries, could be somebody who lectures. Any person that lectures can be called professor. But in the Nigerian context, a professor is somebody who is awarded professorship based on publications and supervision of postgraduate students. And they go fall, these Gen Z people, they go fall into their trap. And we must learn to respect these Gen Zs because they constitute a majority. And they gang up together. They are together. Once you attack one, the rest will come after you. And I think my brother, David Umahi, should have been more careful. I used to watch Mugabe's interviews. Western journalists will want to humiliate Mugabe. But Mugabe has a way, without getting angry, he was at one time the most educated president in the world. Mugabe has a way of turning the questions around to humiliate the Western journalists. That's leadership. That's ability to discuss in public. Amampor can ask, Christian Amampor can ask very difficult questions. During the siege on Kosovo or Sarajevo, the siege on Sarajevo, I think I'm right, Sarajevo, Kosovo, I'm mixing them up now. Sarajevo might be the capital of Kosovo. He was asking Bill Clinton, he said, this is your flip-flopping. That's a very hard word, and they're still showing it on CNN today. That's a very hard word to use on the most powerful man on earth. Bill Clinton did not abuse her. He answered. But subsequently, they went back and reflected. And that's why NATO took action to break the siege on Sarajevo. Larry King Jr. is another person that can ask very tough questions that can infuriate and irritate any person that does not have temper, anger management. And so the wahala between Oseni and Umahi is as a result of generational difference. Number two, perception of roles. Rufai Oseni is representing the public. Umahi, you are serving the public. You are paid by the public. You live in a house funded by the public, and you are managing public money. This is an era where public servants must respect the public. That era of imperial majesty is gone. And Umahi needs to manage his anger in the public space. I saw a video when he was saying that Ebonyi people will not join Biafra. We have been oppressed enough. And BVI showed a video recently that I watched about 24 hours ago, or 48 hours ago. Ebonyi youths were arrested in an eastern security somewhere in the east. They are from Ebonyi State. They are part of the problems generating crisis in the east. And you need to be more careful when you are addressing the public. Now, there are some jobless youths that are protesting that Oseni embarrassed the minister. No, it was an intellectual dialogue. And if you felt embarrassed, you should have told your minister, next time you are going to such places, prepare your records, prepare your facts. I don't think that if, what is his name? Peter Obi was asked the same questions, whether he would have reacted that way. He will reel out answers. I don't also think that if Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was asked those same questions, that she would have reacted that way. So we need to know the era we are living in. And these young men who have gone to protest, simple questions I have. Number one, all the atrocities committed against your mothers, your sisters, your fathers in Ebonyi State, I have never seen you protest. Never. Never seen you protest. Number two, where are the children of Umahi? They have a right to defend their fathers. I've seen one major general, the daughter. Somebody talked to to the father anyhow. The girl is an honorable girl born for that northern major. She came out and did a video confronting whoever insulted her father. Where are the children of Umahi? They are somewhere cooling off, enjoying their lives. You jobless people carry placard to demonstrate against Oseni that he should be sacked. Now your papa opened the television station. Are you the one paying him? They didn't come for a traditional meeting there. He came to a public arena to answer questions. You are protesting against Oseni, and when problems come, it is the same people like Oseni that will defend you. You don't get sense. Nigeria must grow up. Our public servants, our citizens, our religious leaders, our traditional rulers must grow up beyond this imperial majesty mentality and accept that they are public servants. I remain Dr. Charles Apoki. We have properties for sale, we have books for sale. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel. I know I'm laughing. A lot of people don't like me. Do I care? No. I've passed that stage in life. I don't care. I don't care. I'll say the truth. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62. God bless you.